Hello and welcome to our Beer Mover talk, the new one. I'm Jörg Howe, I'm part of the Daimler Truck family, and I have a very special guest here. It's Markus Claesson. Welcome, Markus.
Thank you,
Markus is our Chief Information Officer, right?
Correct.
Wonderful. Sometimes you think Chief Innovation Officer, but information is always connected with innovation, right?
It's actually interchangeable in many ways, because I would argue that technology today really drives a lot of innovation in core business, but also how companies are extending their business model and going into adjacent areas around their core.
Okay. You are 5 years now within our company, right?
Almost 6, actually.
Yeah, but it goes like whoosh, doesn't it?
Yes.
So it's a very speedy company, to my mind.
Very true. It's been an intense time, but also a very rewarding and exciting time.
Yeah, you have been working with Electrolux, a famous household brand in Scandinavia especially. What made you move to a truck company?
So I'd been there as a group CIO for 6 years and in total 10 years with the company. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, I got a call and this role as CIO for the commercial vehicles division of Daimler at the time came up. And it was something that attracted my interest. The main reason for that is I realized that technology, digital IT, whatever you call it, it's basically the same thing, will have a very strong impact on the automotive industry going forward. And I felt that this is a great opportunity to be part of that change and take an active part in shaping the future of transportation and automotive.
Is there a difference between passenger cars and trucks concerning, for example, automation?
The main and I think most decisive difference is that the commercial vehicle industry is a B2B industry. So our customers are the large fleets and of course on the bus side also municipalities and so on. It drives a different dynamic, especially when it comes to services around the vehicles, because these vehicles are mission critical for our customers. And whatever we can do to help them ensure the uptime and make sure that they stay on the road, that drives value to them. So the service portfolio, where technology, IT plays an increasingly important role, is decisive. And I would argue also more and more differentiating in the decision, in the purchase decision, who buys what brand, increasingly will also not only depend on the offering within the vehicle itself, but also around the vehicle.
Is there already in trucks a lot of IT systems that are working?
So there is a lot of software, but historically this has been quite fragmented and part of the electronic architecture. Increasingly, we are working towards a more software-defined vehicle, which consolidates the different hardware and puts a lot of the hardware complexity into software. So yes, software plays an increasingly important role on the vehicle, but I would also add to that what's around the vehicle, as I just mentioned, is also increasingly decisive. If you reflect back on the IAA, the show that just happened, we announced, for instance, a portal where we consolidate all the information for our customers around the fleet, around the aging of the fleet, around warranty, around connected services, around traditional services like maintenance, around financial services. So having all of that information readily available for a customer and helping them in driving more value to how they do their business, that's kind of goes hand in hand with the capability of the vehicle itself.
So and it all has an impact on total cost of ownership, right?
Exactly. So that's the key word, of course, in our business.
Of course.
Or the key focus in many ways. And so far it was largely around fuel efficiency and safety, etc., what was in the vehicle, and increasingly, especially when you look at electrification and what's coming for the future with autonomous, it's also defined by what's around the vehicle. So how do you charge? When do you charge? Where do you charge? What is the pricing of the charging? How do you book the charging stations? All of these things, the entire value chain, all of a sudden is in focus.
Okay, we are investing in the experience of automatic driving. We have a company, now it's a part of the Daimler family called Torc, and they are working in New Mexico, Albuquerque, and it looked very much like this is going to be the future, at least on long tracks on the highway. Are you of the opinion that this will work?
I'm generally very optimistic, but on this particular use case, which we have carved out and defined for ourselves, which is a limited use case, point to point on a highway where there is a strong commercial interest from our customers because of the driver shortage. I believe that technology can fill that opportunity, and really I believe that we will be able to bring that into a real world scenario with customers taking that service from us. Which is not an easy thing to do, so I have a lot of respect for it. But if you look across industries, I think technology is mature, regulation is there. We have limited also primarily at the moment to those states within the United States where there is approval and you can do this. So yes, I believe it's a question of time until that is there.
Do you think this could be also the case in Europe with this a little bit different traffic conditions?
I think ultimately what defines it is partly, of course, regulation, but also is there value for our customers? Is this something that they are pulling for? Is it something that they need? And if those conditions are there, then yes, but there might be other markets that are even more mature or natural as a next step, provided there is success in the US. Australia could be another option, etc. So,
yeah. Any expectations concerning the time frame from your side? What do you think within the next 5 years or so in the US? Could that be possible?
Yeah, this is pure speculation from my side, but I would say in the midterm we should see this.
Okay, and what do you think about automatic driving in urban conditions? Is this worthwhile investing? I have seen Volkswagen, for example, with Moja and all those things going into the inner cities, but I think it's quite a different situation, isn't it?
I think what we've learned in general when it comes to advanced technology and how we want to evolve as a company in terms of our business model, we want to stay close to our core. That's where we can differentiate, that's where we have a certain advantage. And I don't think that includes the inner city. I think that's too complex. There are other players out there that focus on it. It's a tremendous investment, which also means somebody needs to be willing to pay the price tag eventually. And there I'm not sure whether the use case will justify the price tag. I don't think it's for us, at least not for now. I think what we have set ourselves, the target that we have set ourselves is a more realistic one.
Our company now is on its own for nearly 1 year. Did this thing make a difference for you concerning your work and your surroundings?
So, in a way, it wasn't that dramatic because I was already responsible for truck and bus. And in that sense, you know, I was quite well connected across our business with the different segments that we have and the brands and the regions. And also very familiar with our board. In another sense, everything changed because now we are on our own. We have to shape our own future. Of course, having been a group CIO, I was familiar with what it takes in terms of the role of corporate and governance aspects around being an independent company. But you know, historically, we had a lot of touch points, especially around the Mercedes-Benz brand. Sales, after sales was even completely integrated at a certain point. Gradually we have been separating. Engineering, a lot of touch points and shared systems in particular and processes. And of course we didn't have headquarters, so we had to set up a headquarters from scratch, finance, HR, purchasing, you know, all of that and more. And looking at our overall application portfolio, the starting point was that we have dependencies in around 1,500 applications on the industrial side and another 500 applications on the financial services side. We have set ourselves a target to really carve out completely, to stand on our own feet, so to speak. Part of that was done logically. We had to separate legally. We had to separate before the day one, and now we are sort of physically really going through and separating. But it's not really an IT problem as such or a technology problem as such. It's really
more a human problem.
That might be part of it, but we are still in the old operating model in many ways, in the old ways of doing things, the way that we did it when we were part of the bigger Daimler, and we have transition service agreements where Mercedes-Benz AG is still providing a lot of services to us. So now we've set ourselves a very aggressive target to take this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to rethink how we do things, to really try and not recreate the past as we become independent, but think in a new way, look for opportunities to be more lean, to become more agile. And as we've said also to the analysts and the markets, we want to live up to our full potential. And part of that is shaping the future of the company in a way and shaping our capabilities in technology in a way that helps us live up to our full potential.
Is it true that you had to separate more than 1,000 IT systems?
So we are exactly in that process of separating more than 1,000 systems.
It's work for Hercules, is it?
Yeah, somehow.
Yes.
It's very ambitious, and again, we cannot do it on our own. We team up with our business counterparts and the business leaders across the business, and we are launching some very ambitious plans, as I mentioned, especially in the sales after sales environment, in the engineering environment, in HR, etc. And the idea is, let's really leverage modern ways of doing things, latest technology, best practice, go to standard, and streamline and harmonize and simplify a lot of our setup.
To do all this, you have to have egghead capacity, I would say. People who know the business, skilled, powerful, maybe young ones, if it works. How do you attract those people into the company?
So one of the benefits in truck and bus is that we are very embedded with the different areas of our business. So I would argue we have a lot of that knowledge, but for sure, the organization has grown significantly, and we have taken over the full responsibility. And so we are always looking for great people in this space. And it's always important to us to understand the art of the possible. And the outside-in perspective, and not be limited by our historical ways of approaching different topics. So this is definitely something we're doing, and we have a lot of new people joining us.
How important is internationality for you? Getting people from, for example, India, where it used to be a hub or something like that for IT?
So I would say Daimler Truck is a very international company. We are truly global. We are well embedded in all the markets where we have our brands represented, and we are a dominating player in the entire industry. So working on a global scale is something that I very much enjoy, and I think it's one of the things that attract also great people to us. And of course, at the same time, we have deep German roots, and we have to have strong representation here where some of the absolute key decision makers are also sitting.
Does this go together, German roots, especially Swabian roots of the company, and the kind of internationality you need to have for a complex and working IT system?
I think there is a strong heritage and something there that we want to build on, continue to build on. At the same time, of course, the markets and the future opportunities might also be more in other parts of the world, and therefore we need to position ourselves strongly in terms of having people coming out of different environments, different backgrounds, different cultures. So diversity is important to us in order to be well positioned for the future. And I'm a strong believer that diversity drives quality in decision making, and that's really what we're looking for.
Can you imagine to stay within this company until retirement?
Possibly, yeah. So I've been stationed in a few other companies throughout my career. And I think for me and for many people in technology, if you will, it's about the content of what you're doing. And right now our content is super important for the future of the company, super exciting, I would say. If I summarize, the attraction of Daimler Truck to me, first of all, we are a really strong player in this industry, 20 to 40% market share around the world in all the key markets. So we shape the future of transportation in many ways. Of course, there are other players also, but we have a very strong voice. And now with the zero emission transition and everything that comes along with that, we have a very purposeful role to play. And I think that is attractive to a lot of people. And if you zoom in more on technology itself, as I said initially, technology does play an increasingly important role within the vehicle, around the vehicle, in the entire customer experience. And that, there are not that many companies that offer it. That fascinating environment of a very attractive product, a physical good, combined with having a strong influence, combined with zero emission, and combined with services and technology.
Are the requirements in the respective markets totally different? For example, if you compare Brazil to North America or Brazil to, for example, China, are there totally different requirements?
In the core of our business, of course, it's a very highly regulatory driven business, but in technology, I would argue not. This is a very global environment in many ways, and you see that, of course, with the big digital players. They are truly global in most cases, and so talent in that way is also global.
I mean, we could go on and on and on and on talking about different topics. If you have a wish, or you could have one with Martin, for example, what would you wish from him or from the company and the surroundings?
I think we are well on our way to tap into the potential of what technology can do. And I also have the honor to lead a lot of our efforts around connected vehicles and the service portfolio around it, how we drive that. And I think the wish is that we continue to accelerate this space even more. To be honest, there is nothing that really is holding us back. But I think we are fundamentally still in our DNA a very physical product-centric company. And I think the mindset is evolving into becoming a company which is also very focused on what's around that physical product. And that's what I wish for and hope for, and I think it will make this company even stronger and better and more successful in the future.
So we have to be faster.
In that sense, we have to be faster, yes.
Okay, thank you very much for this jolly little talk. That was our BM Mover talk with Markus, the Chief Information Officer of our wonderful Daimler Truck company. Thank you for watching and listening, and thank you for this talk.
Thank you, Jörg. It's a pleasure.
Bye-bye.